everyone, it's Rita. Welcome back to my channel. So today we have probably one of the hardest products to get ever. I feel like this foundation has been out of stock for such a long time. I don't even know when it got released or what happened. All I know is TikTok definitely made this foundation a trend and then everyone was running to get it. It is of course the Good Apple foundation by KVD Beauty. So it was very hard to get. Honestly, I feel like I lucked out because during the Sephora BIB sale, they were kind of like out of stock all the time, and then magically one day a couple of shades appeared, and especially a couple of shades that could be good for me. Honestly, it was just this one. So out of all of the medium shades, the only that was available whenever I kept looking was this one in the shade medium 039, and then some darker, some lighter, but in the medium range this was the only one. Honestly, it was perfect. You'll see whenever I apply it, but it is a really good match for my skin. It is of course what I'm wearing today. I don't want to give too much away, but let's see how this foundation actually works for my skin with vitiligo. I do have vitiligo all over my face, all over my body, but we are going to be using this today to cover the whiteness around my face and see how I like it, because especially lately I've been struggling a lot to cover the white patches on my face. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into it. You already know this foundation is pretty hard to get right now. I feel like it's out of stock everywhere, even on her website, or like on the Kat Von D website. There's like very limited shades. So I did get very lucky to get mine. I got mine in the shade medium 039. It was, I believe, the only medium available whenever I purchased this. I did get it from the Sephora BIB sale, so I did get 20% off. So let's go ahead and try it. I think this shade is gonna match me. It is neutral, so I'm hoping it's not going to be too yellow. I don't remember here. I believe I did get a neutral because it was the only one, and I thought it was very lucky that I got like a neutral one because I always buy neutral. So let's go ahead and try it. I do have here a beauty blender and a brush. So before I actually go in with the foundation, I'm going to go on ahead and apply some primer, because this is going to be, for what I know, very little actually, it is going to be a very thick foundation. So let's go ahead and moisturize my face. If you're new to my channel, my skin is very dry. I mean, normal to dry. Gets very dry during the winter months, which we're no longer in winter, but I still always love to moisturize my skin as good as I can. I honestly haven't seen many videos of how to apply this. I do not have TikTok, so I'm going to just use my finger. I'm gonna go into the product. Oh, it's very creamy. I was expecting something a little bit more thicker. I don't know. I was expecting something like the Derma Blend. So let's see. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good match. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go half of my face with the beauty blender and then half with the with a brush. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this directly on the beauty blender and start blending in. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good way of applying. Oh wow. This is very high coverage. Wow. I was expecting very high coverage, obviously, because I know this foundation is very high coverage, but this was probably enough for me to cover my full face. So never mind brush. I'm gonna go ahead and start blending this into the rest of my face, because this is very, very high coverage. The color match, I feel like it's pretty good. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a little darker, one shade darker would have been good. But then the problem with that is that if I jump to another shade, it can be like maybe even too dark. So this much that I used was pretty good for half of my face and my forehead. I still need a little bit extra on this side, but just go ahead and apply a little bit extra the same way, just with the beauty blender. I realize now that you need really the smallest amount. So I can only imagine if you go like thick with this foundation, you're gonna get like super full coverage, which I really do like these days, but I don't like my foundation to look thick. Okay, now for what's going to be for me the tricky part is going to be to cover the whiteness. So I'm going to go in directly with my favorite brush. This is the Rare Beauty, the foundation brush. And I'm going to just start applying this on my eyes. And let me see if I can actually zoom you in a little bit closer. There we go. That's better. I should have been this the whole way. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start blending in. You can actually see that whiteness is still there. It's still picking through just a little bit on this side. You can still see it, but here it's basically, I haven't really touched it much, especially on the top part. So I have the foundation on my brush. This is literally the reason why I bought this foundation, to see if it would cover perfectly fine my vitiligo. So let's go ahead and try. I am very impressed. It covered everything really, really good. Like even this side, which lately I've been struggling so much to cover. You can see how you can barely see it, if you can't even see it. Honestly, you can't see it. It's like a full, like a, just like one shade, which I absolutely love. I'm actually building up a little bit on this side. Again, this is the area that I struggle so much to cover entirely. I feel like even though I wear foundation and concealer, it still kind of like peeks through the change or like the difference in tone. So this is probably the best I've tried so far. I'm gonna get even a little bit more close to your face. I do apologize. You're gonna see everything on my skin. So you can see how well it actually did cover everything. This side is even more perfect, because this one is actually, somehow this one is not, you can't see as much as you can see on this side. So the vitiligo on this side is just perfectly covered. Of course, it's foundation, it's makeup, it's going to like start to clump up right here underneath, but I just like smooth it with my finger, and I'll do it again before I put on my powder. So the only little thing, just if I'm being super picky, is that I do have dry patches right now underneath my nose, and they are being a little bit noticeable, but that's honestly, that's with any foundation. Even if I went with a hydrating foundation or like a low covered foundation, once I apply it and then apply my concealer to cover the redness and then the powder, it's still going to be like flaky. So that's not really an issue. Okay, so it's looking really good. I'm gonna go ahead and powder and of course finish my full face, and then I'll be back. I'm gonna let this makeup kind of like sit and just, you know, do the whole process, and then I'll let you know kind of like my final thoughts. And I will be linking down below. I'll pin a comment of how I like it throughout the day, because I don't think I'm gonna do a wear test today, but I will definitely let you know. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my face, and then we'll come back with all makeup is now done. I do like this foundation. I'm not gonna lie, I really do like it. Now that I have the full face, I still don't feel like this foundation is heavy in any way. I wanted to kind of like wait until I did all my makeup and then see how I felt. It still feels like a normal foundation. I mean, honestly, maybe I'm already too used to wearing foundation every day, but I never really feel foundations. Sometimes when they are a little too, I guess, full coverage, they can be a little bit heavy, or they can feel like you have something in your face. I don't feel anything with this foundation. So although it is a very high coverage foundation, it's very comfortable whenever applied. I can see after I powder, I didn't use any concealer, which is a new thing, because I always go on with my foundation and then kind of like pinpoint a little bit more coverage with that concealer on the area, specifically on this side of my face, right here underneath my eye. That spot specifically has been very hard lately to cover. So whenever I did originally apply it, you can see like on the demo, I was saying that this actually worked really good and it covered everything. It did, and I was able to actually kind of like go back and apply a little bit more. So I originally just applied, you saw, with the beauty blender, and then for the more specific areas of white patches around my eyes, I did go on with the brush. But did it cover 100%? No, it did not. But honestly, I don't think that's the fault of the foundation. I think just in general, it's going to be very hard for me to get a product that's actually going to give me a full coverage. This did give me a full coverage, but you can still see, and this is me being super picky, I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to cover my face entirely, but you can still see just a little bit on this side, which again, that's the place where I struggle to cover with product. But all in all, I really love it, and I do see myself, I think I mentioned that I probably wouldn't use this every day. I do see myself as using this product as a, whenever I want to have my full face, I would definitely go for this, because it, to me, it covers two needs, which is of course a foundation need and also a concealer one. Because as someone with vitiligo, I do always prefer to have my face all covered. I don't cover anything from my body. Like, you can see my vitiligo everywhere. It doesn't, like, I don't cover it, but my face, it's really more for makeup application, not really for how I feel. I just like to, whenever I'm doing my makeup, I like to go all out and have like a full face done. So because of that, I do try to go for more full coverage around my eyes, which is where I have the biggest patches. I did really enjoy this foundation. It actually feels and looks better on my skin than my Dermablend, which is the only other product that I could actually compare this with. Dermablend is another one of those cream products that is going to be very thick, very full coverage, designed for kind of like covering tattoos, to cover vitiligo, to cover, you know, to cover something, not just for like your average everyday person who just wants to wear foundation. So I do have that one, and that one actually feels a little bit more greasy on my face, which I was scared this was gonna do that, but no, it actually doesn't feel greasy. Of course, I just applied it. It's probably been like an hour since I applied it, but I will leave you here pinned on the very first comment how it worked during the day, and I'll probably post it also here. But honestly, I really like it. I think this is a very good shade match for me. I don't think if I went darker, it would cover more or it would be beneficial, because it probably wouldn't match my neck. So right now, I feel like the foundation with my neck and my body just seems like very seamless. You can't really tell. Of course, I'm wearing foundation, but you can't like really tell on the neck any difference, which I absolutely love. So overall, I am very pleased. I would give this foundation, for someone with vitiligo like myself, 10 out of 10. This covered better than anything, even better than my Dermablend, which is pretty surprising, and it was very easy to apply, which was something that I was also concerned. But honestly, just grabbing my beauty blender, went all in. That's all you need. If you are someone who doesn't really want to cover something, or does not have the need to give yourself like a one tone on your face, like you don't have vitiligo, I think you would still enjoy this foundation. Like, if you just like in general full coverage foundations, this is a really good one. Just of course be sure to, if you have a more drier skin like myself, just prep your face really good with moisturizer and of course your more hydrating primer. I really did love it. And if you're more oily, as long as you also prime your face with kind of like a more silicone type primer, and then very well powder your face with a more matte powder, I don't see how this would move at all and, you know, give you any kind of like greasy problems throughout the day. Again, I haven't really used it other than an hour ago, but we'll see how it goes. It looks really good. It covered what I needed to cover. So all in all, I'm very happy with this purchase. So if you have any recommendations from Kat Von D, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!